Welcome to the most important journey you will ever undertake. This class is based on A Course in Miracles, a spiritual process that can assist and guide anyone to release fear and guilt, allowing health, joy, and peace of mind to return. The series is presented by Carol Howe, one of the first course students, earliest course teachers, and biographer of Bill Thetford, co-scribe of A Course in Miracles. Grounded in science and research, with decades of teaching and counseling experience, Carol is a world-renowned expert who will show you how to apply this material to all the circumstances of your daily life. Our resentments and self-absorption lock us in a prison, deprived of happiness. This segment explores our relentless internal conflict and how it is healed. Our mind can then be at peace and reflect miraculously the healing of all aspects in our life: relationships, bodies, finances, and more.
Well, I'm so glad to see you again. It seems like it's been way too long. I've thought about you. Sometimes I laugh out loud when I think of how much fun it's been for us to be together and explore some very important ideas, but from a lighthearted point of view. If you can't have fun when you do this, then there's something definitely wrong. Would you agree? Yeah. Okay. So, as always, we need to remind ourselves why we're here, why we're doing this. We're told that the one goal that makes any sense in this world is our own peace of mind. And the only way we can be peaceful is to get the clutter out of the way through those processes of forgiveness, releasing, letting go, whatever you want to call it. As long as there's noise in our minds, peace of mind is out of the question. And we want to remember that any spiritual practice, not just a course, but any spiritual practice is valid if, in fact, that's what it does, is help us move to a quiet place in our own minds. That's why we're here. I continue to be in awe of this material. Rather than becoming jaded, as I have been with it over the years, it becomes ever more amazing the longer I'm with it. And it's lovely to know that there is a wisdom available to us, our wisdom, which is here for us, which so far transcends what our ego minds can dream up, that I think the Course uses the example, it's like a lighted match compared to the sun. One of the things we're asked to do is not let our ego minds decide whether or not this practicing is a good idea or not, because it's always going to say no. So we're not going to let it have a vote. We're going to say, my peace of mind is important to me, and so I'm willing to proceed in a manner that's going to get me there. That being said, we want to do a reprise of this picture that we took down off the wall. I don't know if this was last time or time before last. We took this picture down off the wall, and the point we made with the picture before was that nothing, no element in this picture causes anything else in the picture. That it's a picture, all painted at the same time by something that's outside the picture. And in the same way, the world of time and space is a much more sophisticated and moving picture than this, but it is nevertheless a picture. It's a picture that we see through our own perceptual apparatus. It's one that's consistent with our state of mind, which is when we're in great turmoil, the picture, which is a seamless whole with it, isn't going to be very much fun. So, we want to look at something else related to this picture. Not only does one thing in the picture not cause anything else, to elaborate on that, no harm can come to anyone from this picture. No help can come from this picture. Any picture on the wall just sits there and is a picture, and we can like it or not. We interpret what the world is all about based on our own mindset. And just so that that's clear, here we've got two people. This girl's lying here asleep or something, and we've got a guy swimming by. We could, if we were feeling happy with ourselves and like all's right with the world, we could make up a story to ourselves that they're a couple and she's had a hard day at the office or something, and so she just needs a little rest, and her partner is very kindly giving her some space to rest, and he's doing his thing. And we'd think, how nice is that? Or we could make up a story, depending upon the state of our mind, that they are a couple and they've just had a big fight and she's ignoring him entirely and he's all upset and just has to go off on his own, in which case you'd think, ooh. Or we could make up a story that says they don't know each other and she's asleep and doesn't even know he's here, and vice versa. In other words, the picture is the picture and we superimpose on it what we think it means. Does that make sense? Can you see that we do that all the time? We are always interpreting what something means based on what's going on with us. Now, it would be completely understandable if your ego mind said, don't tell me that in the world we're going to proclaim as a picture that there's no harm or loss going on, because there absolutely is harm and loss going on. There's violence and there's suffering and there's awfulness going on everywhere. And notice how your ego mind gets really stirred up and upset when we say harm and loss is not going on. Does that give you some idea of how attached it is to things in the world cause other things? There's a lesson that ends, and this sounds bizarre the first time you read it. It says, the time will come when you will laugh at pain and suffering and death and so on. It doesn't say you're going to laugh at people who are experiencing that. We will so wake up to the place we will laugh at the idea we ever thought it was possible. Don't even try to figure that out with your intellect, because you can't. But the purpose of A Course in Miracles or any other valid spiritual practice is to clear and quiet our minds enough that we can have that direct realization and experience for ourselves. Okay, we need to clarify something here. In this world, there absolutely is the appearance of harm and loss and destruction and violence when seen through that sensory ego-driven part of the mind. But we're promised that if we engage with another part of the mind that sees beneath and underneath and beyond this, we discover love and blessing and goodwill, and joining is always already in place. And so it is certainly true that in our world there appears to be great violence. I don't know whether it's more so all the time, but certainly today that's the way it appears. And we approach it the wrong way because we presume violence is external to me, that I'm just fine. It's all those other people and countries that are violent, and I'm just having to deal with their violence. And the Course says, no, no, no. We do great violence to ourselves on a regular basis. What does that sound like to hear? Does that sound like an overstatement? We do violence to ourselves because the original way we got into this sleeping state in the first place was attempting to break apart unity and set up my own shop someplace. That wrenching away was a violent intention in the first place. And every time I attack myself, which is almost every second, or I attack somebody else, I'm doing violence to myself. There's a part in the text where it says, and one more question must be asked. How do you like this world that you've made? This world of murder and attack, where you thread your way timidly, hoping that death will just hold off a little while. Do you remember where that is? It doesn't mince words, especially in the second half of the text. It makes it very clear that we do violence to ourselves. So the attempt to fix the violence out there, has anybody noticed, doesn't work. Until I deal with the violence inside my own mind, some of it we haven't recognized as violence. We just think being mean to ourselves is like what I'm supposed to do because I'm not a nice person. In other words, we have no idea of the violence that we're doing. What do you think? Does that give one pause?
Yeah, I don't, but I think I try to take care of myself by making other people violent. I'm not the violent.
Well, exactly. That's why we try to deny what we've done to ourselves, because we're terrified. Now, it says in various places how afraid we are and how terrified of what we've done. When I was a new course student,